41,071 emails, 350 hours of voicemail, 744 tweets, 46 Facebook messages, 4 fake Facebook accounts, 106 pages of letters, and 1 cup of tea. Can I get you something?
No thanks.
Are you sure? Cup of tea?
No thanks.
You have to buy something.
Can't afford something.
Right, not even a cup of tea.
No.
How about I give you a cup of tea on the house?
Welcome back to another episode of the Algorithm Podcast.
Welcome, welcome.
Good to be back.
Mm-hmm.
How is everyone today?
Tired.
Doing great.
Tired?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been raining all day.
Yeah.
It's time to take it to the truck.
Tell them how you are, sis.
Shout out to Scrap Dog.
Shout out Scrap Dog.
Yeah.
Today's episode, we're doing our very first ever series review.
Yeah.
Type episode.
Call it that.
We did Gypsy Rose, but that wasn't based off a series. That was a
Right.
story itself.
Yeah.
This, we're actually doing a Netflix series review.
Yeah.
And it is based off of the #1 show, Baby Reindeer,
Mm.
sent from my iPhone.
Straight from the iPhone.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think about Baby Reindeer? Let's go around in a circle. Let's start with Tiffany.
Oh, hell. I don't even know.
You don't even know?
No. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that he played himself. Like all the emotions that had to bring back for him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
His acting is out of this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really
Yeah.
good.
Like
Yeah.
when he had to have the conversation with his parents again, like he just
Oh,
bawled
my.
his eyes out.
Well, I mean, that'd probably be one of the easier things to do. Like you said,
I
it brings back
know.
all those
I
emotions.
know.
Not saying it was easy to do, but
Yeah, like
interrupting.
easy to cry
There is
about.
spoilers in this. This
Yeah, yeah.
whole episode is a
Yeah,
spoiler.
yeah,
If you haven't
so
seen Baby Reindeer, go watch Baby Reindeer and then stop this episode now.
it's
And
an
then come
easy
back.
watch too because the show's good, but the
Yeah.
episodes are only like
seven
Yeah.
episodes, like 40 minutes.
yeah,
long.
like 40 minutes. Some of them
they're
are
not
like
long.
30, right at
Yeah.
30 minutes. So
Yeah.
it's not a bad watch at all.
Getting back on his acting, it was
Yeah, he did a really good job.
the entire cast,
Yeah.
even the chick that played Martha,
Yeah.
Mhm.
otherworldly.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did great.
What'd
She
you
seemed like a psycho.
Yeah.
The actress.
Yeah.
So she was on with him on one of the talk shows in England or Scotland or wherever they're at, and she's super nice.
Oh yeah, she's
Like,
so sweet.
Yeah, super nice. Even the lady was looking at her like I was waiting for you to like look up at me with like a frowny
Go
grin and
crazy.
just go crazy. Yeah. What'd you think of Baby Reindeer?
I thought it was actually really good both ways. Like we were talking about a minute ago before we started, it kind of is like a real big self-reflection on him. It's not just like a straight like I don't know shot at the Martha character throughout the whole thing. He obviously was going through a lot
Mhm.
at the time too, so I think there was a little bit of him, kind of seeking attention, but also not wanting to really let things go. You know what I mean? Like he liked the attention so much that he just really couldn't let it go, but obviously knew it was like a bad thing in his life at the time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was telling you it was one of the first shows or / movie shows that I've ever watched where it's not just black and white.
Mhm.
It's not just there's a good character and a bad character. They kind of just like intertwine.
Mhm.
Like at moments he's the good character and she's obviously insanely crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then there's times where you have empathy for her, where you feel sorry for her, and you're like looking at him like, well, you're leading her on.
Right.
What you're doing
Yeah.
is fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he airs a lot of his dirty laundry.
Mhm.
A lot of his dirty
Some
laundry.
stuff that a lot
Yeah.
of people would never even admit.
Yeah, the scene where he sits down with his parents, it like fucked with me.
No, I
Like,
was
that
a
was
blubbering
crazy.
mess.
Mhm.
Especially when his dad told him he was like raised in a Catholic church.
Yeah.
And like as soon as he said that, I knew what he meant.
I literally
already,
was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I already knew it was.
Yeah, that
it
that
was
shit
so
was freaky.
sad.
What'd you think of Baby Reindeer?
I went into it totally blind. So like I literally had no idea what it was about. I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't know that he was his own person. Like he did his own acting on his own story until after I had already watched it and I went and watched a couple interviews. with him,
Really?
I was like,
You
no.
didn't know that was
fucking-
really him?
I had no idea.
That's
And then I
crazy.
started connecting all the dots and I was like, holy shit, he's been through it.
Yeah.
I do think it's really well put together.
Yeah. What would you guys do if you had a stalker? 41,000 emails.
Yeah.
What was it? 700 voicemails.
Oh, hold on.
Tiffany's got the numbers.
Yep.
I know it's 41,000.
41,000 emails, 350, or yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Words are hard.
Yep.
350 voicemails, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters.
That's insane.
Wild.
Mhm.
I think those numbers are just like insane for
And they're-
one person.
They're not
just-
fabricated.
Yeah. She was literally just pursuing him in every single way that she could.
Mhm.
And that's wild
Mhm.
to go back and count up all of those numbers
Oh my
for,
Well, the funny thing is they were sent from an iPhone.
of course, yeah.
No, they weren't.
how
no,
could
no, 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 they
That was
weren't.
the craziest thing to me is like
Yeah.
she sat right in front of him with her phone.
Yeah.
And he was like, that was like one of the first things he said
Clearly
when she started
not.
emailing him. Like, I knew she didn't have an iPhone. She was sitting text right in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every single email, we're talking 41,000 emails, was typed out. And then it goes space, sent from my iPhone. 90% of the time, it would be spelled correctly.
Yeah.
There would be 10% of the time where she'd either be super happy
Yeah.
or,
like
super pissed off
raging.
Yeah.
or raging to where it'd be misspelled.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
telling them, I said, there's one that literally just said iPhone.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't.
She would spell it just like straight Scottish accent too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't really put myself in the shoes of having a stalker, especially one that infiltrates my every single day life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking like he didn't let her have his cell phone number, so she would obviously email him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really just don't know.
I think it was like, I kind of spoke on it a minute ago. It's like this guy had been through so much. Like, like you see it in, I think it's like episode 3 or 4
Oh,
where he goes through all this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's even later. Maybe it's like episode 5 where he goes through this stuff where he's like,
It's a flashback.
right. He's wanting to be like famous, and he kind of gets this in with this guy that's been a writer on a comedy show, I believe is what it was.
Mhm.
This guy kind of is a predator himself and
Mhm.
latches onto him and promises him all this stuff. Well, eventually just ends up starting to drug him and then,
There's so much
sexually
to.
assault him. So it's like he's been through so much, and his self-esteem was so low that he was eating up the attention and
Yeah.
somebody making him feel good,
Mhm.
knowing that it was actually being like it was detrimental to his whole
Right.
life.
Yeah, his comedy. He was a stand-up comedian, and his comedy wasn't good.
Yeah.
So he wasn't getting the attention from anybody. And this guy pretty much walks into his life and shows him like a path to get this attention, even in that bar, that
Yeah.
pub or whatever. He was setting up the stage and getting views, and it showed this guy, or it showed up.
And that guy had
Richard-
probably been doing that for a while. He would
Oh,
go to these
yeah.
bars and just pluck people out and
Yeah.
promise them things because he
Yeah.
did have a status. So.
and he would go over to this guy's house and just do the most insane drugs, and
Oh.
it was affecting his home life. It ruined his relationship with his girlfriend.
Yep.
And that's when it like really he got sexually assaulted. Would you talk about that?
Yeah.
Very descriptive here. It really changed who he was as a person
Yeah.
Mhm.
completely, which
Yeah, he
That-
started like struggling with his own like sexuality.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, and I want to get back to Martha, like how they first met.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is a bartender
Mhm.
at a pub trying to make ends meet. Okay, and she walks in one day.
I just love the way she walks. She's like,
Yeah, she's very jolly.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
she has so much pep in her step that, like,
Yeah, just think Santa Claus walking in.
I mean, she takes up so much space. And, like,
We're
as soon as she
fucking on
walks
her
in-
right now,
I know.
dude.
Sorry, Martha.
Yeah, she's very jolly. Episode 2 is we forgot about this part. So episode 2 is when he starts dating Terry.
Yeah, he signs up on a trans website under a fake name, calls himself Tony.
Mhm.
Yeah, starts dating her, and he's like embarrassed of her and shit. He liked her
Harry.
a lot, but didn't really want to put it on Front Street.
Yeah, changed his name. Told her that he was a construction worker.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for him in this situation,
Yeah,
like because he knows he's gonna get like shit. I feel bad for Terry too
yeah.
later on.
She was like really smart. She was like a psychiatrist, so like she was not buying any of the
Go
bullshit.
fucking figure. She's a psychiatrist, and
Yeah.
this is fucking happening.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances? Episode 3 is where he confesses everything to Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and pretty much tells Terry that I have this fucking jolly bitch fucking up my life, and I don't want you to be involved with this.
Yeah.
It's gonna get bad.
Yeah.
And
He still didn't like confess what his real name was or any of that stuff.
No.
At that point though.
No. And this episode ends very bad with a fight at a bar between Martha and Terry. And Martha beats the living shit out of Terry.
Yeah.
Bad. And this like caused Donnie to lose his shit on Martha for the first time. I think
Oh.
that's the first time he ever
Yeah.
lost his mind on her.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much telling her like, get out of my life. Woody whoop, woody whoop.
Yep.
Episode 5, it talked about Martha being banned from Donnie's pub.
Episode 5 is like where he gets kicked out of his ex-girlfriend's mom's house because he lived there forever.
Oh
after they
yeah, and
broke up.
fucking the ex-girlfriend told him like don't ever bring trouble back to my mom's house. That's
Right.
the only stipulation that you
Right.
can't have to live here. And the
'Cause-
mom actually kicked him out.
Right. After they broke up, he stayed living with, what's her name? Keely?
Yeah.
Keely's
In the
mom.
show, yeah.
Yeah. And she said, like, you can stay here, but the only thing you're not allowed to do is, like, bring trouble to my mom's door. And then Martha showed up at her mom's
cooking
class
yeah.
under the name Sheila.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all kind of unraveled for them.
I think this is like the first point he like really realizes like this is a huge,
Yeah.
huge problem. Like I think he knew up to that point, but he was kind of keeping it all
Mm-hmm.
under control.
Mm-hmm.
That no matter what he
Yeah.
did, he couldn't get rid of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
She
Well,
really
she
started
was
turning up the
literally, like,
crazy at that point.
Living at the bus stop across from his house.
Yeah.
That's
15
that's
15
later
hours
on.
a day.
Yeah, that's later
Yeah.
on. But yeah,
you know, I just can't I don't understand why it took him so fucking long
True.
to get rid of her. But it also goes back to what we said of the gratification that he got from her compliments.
Mhm.
yeah. I think he's a little fucked up in the head at that point too. So it's like when your confidence is at an all time low and you're dating a trans girl that you don't really want to, want anybody to know about that extra gratification kind of boosted his confidence, but also he knew it was like a bad thing.
Yeah. And the next episode is the episode where she finally starts going after his parents. And that's kind of like I don't know. How did she even get his parents' contact information? Did it even show?
She got a hold of his dad's
Work.
work,
Yeah.
and his work gave
number.
Martha his number.
Yeah.
So then she started contacting his parents and was like, Donnie's been in a really bad car accident.
Oh yeah,
something,
that's
something.
what it
And
was.
that's how it started because
Yeah.
he
oh
was.
yeah, I forgot about
Didn't she
that.
pretend to be like HR or something? Or
I
did
don't
she
remember.
Contact
I can't
HR?
remember,
I
but
don't
yeah, she
remember.
got a hold of him somehow and then started calling him and threatening him, and
Yeah.
saying a bunch of crazy ass shit.
And that's where that was like another tick for him was like, she's actually like on me
Yeah.
and she's
Mhm.
not letting go. Is now
Yeah.
she's like reaching out to my family and telling them like absurd things
Yeah,
that
this is where he like
aren't
finally
happening.
like actually took going to the cops serious.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what's really good. This is what's happening.
Yeah. So that's when he turned around and was like, this is happening. Do something about it. And they were like, what? Why did you wait so long for one? And for two, like, we need more.
Mhm.
Until he said, Google Martha,
Yeah.
whatever. And then it clicked in his head and he was like, we've heard that name before. Wait a
Yeah.
second. And then they started taking it a little bit more serious. But
Which was weird. That just keeps like it keeps going back to like him not wanting to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Because like even when he does something, then he's like, they ask for like the timeline,
Yeah.
and he won't give it to him.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's like almost like giving a kid a second chance on like homework, and they still just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. And he
Mm.
just never did. It's just
Right.
so weird where he's just like back and forth all the time from like wanting to turn her in and get rid of her to like still wanting her in his life.
Yeah, one of the craziest things about this entire series was the curveball that got thrown towards the end of it, where we come to find out that Martha has been recording every conversation
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
between her and Donnie.
Yes.
Yeah.
He tried to like
He tried to set her up.
yeah, like
Yeah.
give her a reverse card and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey,
Let me hang your curtains.
yeah, send me an in-depth email
I'm
of
spitting
everything
game
you
like that
want
all
me
the
to
time.
do."
Now let me hang your
Yeah.
curtains.
Yeah.
And
So
then
what's on the special at the house? She said
Yeah.
beef curtains.
Forgot about that.
Oh,
But that shows like she was actually crazy, but she was smart too. Like she
Oh,
was
yeah.
a lawyer. Like it's not like she was just some
She
like
was
idiot.
so
but she's crazy.
smart.
Yeah,
So smart.
she knew like what she was doing. Like it was all calculated. Like okay, well if I'll record the things that are gonna work for because that's how court works. I
Mhm.
mean, it might not always be something that's particularly true, but if you can bend it and in a way to make it make you look good, then
Mhm.
it'll work. Then she knew how to do that.
oh,
Yeah. At the end of episode 6, we talked about him being a stand-up comedian. Well, he makes it to the finals of this comedy show,
Yeah.
and he's at a breaking point in his life where it's like he hasn't really told anyone about. We talked about how he confessed to his parents earlier,
Mm-hmm.
so that was after what happened right here.
Yeah.
He up to this point, he hasn't told anybody about anything that's happened in his life.
Right.
Like outside of Terry telling Terry that he's got a stalker and stuff like that, he hasn't told anybody about his abuse, the abuse that he went through, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a real life viral breakdown on a comedy stage, and he pretty much told the world everything that he'd been
Everything,
going
yeah.
through
It was like the first time where he's like actually 100% truthful about everything.
about him.
'Cause,
He
like
was
even with Terry, it was never like super truthful. Like he'd always leave like bits out or like he
Mhm.
would always leave something out.
yeah. So it's a little bit over
Dramatized.
dramatized
Yeah.
in the series, but this actual stand up bit right here you can actually go watch on YouTube, and he's pretty much confesses it's pretty much everything,
Yeah.
like all of that stuff. So I might put that up in the episode. And this is where he goes back to his parents' house
Mhm.
and tells them like, look, there's a viral video out. Have you guys seen it? And his father's like, I don't fucking have social media. Blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Yeah, both of them kind of.
His dad is hilarious, by
Yeah.
the way, in that
Yeah.
series.
He tells her he's gonna cut her fucking legs off.
Oh
And,
my
shit.
gosh, he was
Yeah.
going off.
And
Yeah.
like those are the funniest people to listen talk shit. Is like Scottish Irish people.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Conor McGregor, one of the best
Yeah.
shit talkers ever. Like
Mhm.
it's funny, bro.
He opens up deeply to his parents about being like bisexual
Mhm.
and telling them that he was sexually assaulted. And like the entire time listening to this, like the mother's like gasping, but you can like look at the father. I'm telling you right now, the acting in this show
That's good,
is
man.
insane.
It's good.
Mhm.
Like if you just watch the father in this show the entire time he's saying this, like he's slowly tearing up
Oh,
the entire time. And his father was like, well, Donnie was like, I just don't want you guys to judge me for things that I've been through or things that I like or things that I'm going through, whatever. And then his father says, would you judge me? And he's like confused by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I was raised in a Catholic church. And then there was like a long pause and like the mother just looking at Donnie like,
Yeah.
he's raised in a Catholic church. And
Yeah.
it kind of clicked.
Yeah.
Like he was molested
It was
too.
like that for me too. Like when he first said it, I was like, it clicked quick, but I was like, what the fuck's he talking about? Then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
mom looking back and forth between them, she was like,
Mhm.
I can't believe it. It almost like baffled her. She was like, I can't believe that you're telling our son this right now. But to the father, like, there was such a clear connection
Yeah.
between what Donnie was saying and what he had been through that, like, he didn't have to say it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
he had to say was, I was raised in a Catholic church. And I was sobbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
Yeah. Series ends obviously with Martha being convicted of stalking. You know, he finally goes and presses charges or whatever. And it's, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I could watch that again, and I'm sure there's things that like I
You'll-
could find that
you'll
I
pick up
missed.
things that you
Mhm.
missed.
Yeah,
I
The-
think the whole point or everything leading up to her getting arrested was like what got me was the way that Donnie completely broke down in all of the voicemails that she was
Mhm.
leaving and how he fully like had a timeline on his wall
Yeah.
to completely break down who Martha was, and he still didn't know 50% of who she was,
Yeah.
even though she was on him
Yeah.
and she knew everything about him.
After she got sentenced and put away in the series, I still don't know if she's really been locked up. Do we know if that's true or not?
No,
That's one thing
I want to.
we might have to do like a little update, even if it's just like a little short episode to kind of like unblur the lines between the two.
Yeah.
Because like we're definitely doing the series review, but I'd like to know like how like close all this was, because I
Yeah.
mean we were
Every-
talking about it
yeah.
a little bit before you got here. There's a Piers Morgan interview where they actually had the real lady on her named
Yeah.
Fiona Harvey,
Mm-hmm.
and she seems crazy.
Yeah.
She's that's the comment. The second
Yeah.
comment on there says what it
It
says.
said,
You
well, we can pretty much all agree that this is the real Martha, right? And it's a question mark, ... and then space sent from my iPhone. Someone commented
and it's
that.
really like that. You can really like go watch it, and the chick did a good job because like
It's her.
it's her.
Yeah.
It's literally
Yeah, like,
her.
this chick's crazy.
I didn't watch the whole hour interview of him on or of her on that show, but I watched like little 10 or 15-minute excerpts that they pulled out from it.
Mhm.
And I mean, you can absolutely see it.
Yeah. I guess another thing to take away from the last episode was when she was sentenced, there was like a void. He had like a big void in his life
Mhm.
about her. Like like you said, all the research he was doing, but
Yeah.
like all the times he was listening to her emails, and it almost seemed like he missed her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he missed her, even
Yeah.
like to the very end of the episode, the end of the series, where she tells the story of how baby reindeer
Oh,
came
man.
about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of like, that was like the empathetic side.
Right.
That was where I felt empathy for her.
Yeah.
Was like the true story of baby reindeer.
Right.
But
it almost made me feel like he didn't really like. I don't think he was ever like attracted to her or wanted her. I think he was just like attracted to the
attention.
way it made him feel. Yeah, the attention and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, after he went and faced, what was his name? Was it Damien? The bro who
Dar-
was like Damien? Somebody like whatever his name
I
was,
think it was
The-
Damien.
who was like grooming him.
Yeah.
And he
Oh.
went back and he was like, I can give you a position. We're gonna like reboot this show.
Oh yeah, the
and we
show
can
that he
pay you
liked.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was
I
like,
forgot about
It
that.
freaked me
that
out.
sounds great, but
Yeah.
you could tell he was like,
Freaking out.
yeah, like
It took
what
him
am I
back
supposed to do?
that feeling. Yeah.
And then when he left and you could tell he was feeling like conflicted about all of it, he immediately put on headphones and started listening to Martha
Martha
tell
tell
him
him.
that
Mhm.
he was beautiful and
Yeah.
his jawline was perfect. And
Yeah.
it almost became like an addiction for him to listen to her
Yeah.
like compliment him and
It-
like, boost him up.
It almost makes you wonder if he's still like, even with all the publicity and how big this show got and so forth, if he's still dealing with like those demons.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, do you think he's watched the interview of Martha on Piers Morgan?
Oh, I'm
of
sure he
Fiona
has.
on Piers
I'm
Morgan?
sure he has.
And was
He's
like,
real like he's like self-conscious. Like I feel like he's a person like he want like it showed right there like going through all that stuff with the guy that wrote the show. Like he wanted to be famous. Like he's real worried about like what people think of him and stuff. So
yeah.
I'm sure he's still like dealing with all that stuff.
He's so mellow.
Yeah.
Like in all of the interviews that I watched, he's like, yeah, I didn't think it was going to be anything more than like I don't remember how many he said, but he's like, I did not expect it to get this big
So,
this fast.
Did you know it's a solo play? Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
This entire story, this baby reindeer story, he wrote a book and it's a solo play
Oh,
that he
yes.
actually
Yeah.
performs in front of people.
Yeah.
He performed this entire story in front of these people as like
Yeah.
a stand-up solo play. Netflix caught wind of it and
And then
Took
developed
it.
And
a
yeah,
series.
and they
Yep.
went to
Which
him
is
and
crazy
said,
because it's like the dude wanted to be a comedian. He's obviously like such a like great dramatic actor.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
he's insane with his acting.
Yeah.
this story, he's an insanely great actor. This
Yeah.
story is so good. It almost makes me wonder if like he has other things that
Yeah.
he can like.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he does. Like I mean, in the show, he's like, that's what he wanted to do was like write on the comedy series and become a writer himself. Like he
Yeah.
came to dude with his own script, and the dude was like, oh yeah, it needs work and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I wanted more. Like I wish there was more to
Me
this.
too.
Like there's only 7 episodes. I wanted like more backstory, more. I wanted more of it.
yeah,
And that's what's frustrating about it, and especially about stories like this is like you're just left wanting more.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do with all of this that I
Yeah.
just took in? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense.
Him and Terry's relationship.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted more of that.
I-
Like even that 6-month gap.
Yeah, like what happened in that?
Yeah, the
time?
series could have been like 2 seasons of like 10
know.
episodes or something. But at the same time, you don't want it to be something where it's like
Watered down.
goes too
Right.
long and you're like, all right, this is they get
Right.
you know. I mean, there's always a point where it's like, all right, this sucks now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I did watch an interview where they said like there was no future plans to do anything else with this. Like what it is now
what it
is
is.
what it's going to
Could be
be.
a good thing. I mean,
And-
I hope he keeps writing though.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him in some other series because he's obviously a good actor. I think
Yeah.
we'll see him again for sure.
Yeah, we have to do more of these.
Yeah.
You just don't want anything to do with it, do you?
You poor thing.
Baby reindeer.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all we
Yeah,
got
we're gonna
for
shut her
today,
down.
guys.
Elena's not letting us do anything else.
I'm getting you. I just can't.
See ya.
Say bye.
Throw out the feast on it.
41,071 emails, 350 hours of voicemail, 744 tweets, 46 Facebook messages, 4 fake Facebook accounts, 106 pages of letters, and 1 cup of tea. Can I get you something?
No thanks.
You sure? Cup of tea?
No thanks.
You have to buy something.
Can't afford something.
Right, not even a cup of tea.
No.
How about I give you a cup of tea on the house?